One of the challenges as a relationship coach is after a breakup, convincing the person who's been dumped that their focus must turn inward. And not only is that the best thing for them, but it also gives them the best chance of reuniting with their ex. And that's very difficult to convince them of that from a strategy standpoint. It feels passive. It feels like that wouldn't accomplish what they're wanting to do. Like it wouldn't reattract their ex, like it would just be giving up, like it would be letting their ex wander off to be with whoever or to forget about them. There's all kinds of concerns, and they are legitimate because that's what the fear is. And so I can't just dismiss it and tell them that's not how it is, just get over it. It takes some convincing because one of the things we're taught from a very young age, if you want something, you have to go after it. And that works well when it's up to us. But in this case, there's another person. And going after it, in a lot of ways, seems like you're telling them it doesn't matter how you feel. I want you back. And since I want you back, even though you don't want to be with me, I'm going to pout. I'm going to try to talk you into it. I'm going to make you feel guilty. I'm going to pester you. I'm going to stalk you. All those things. And that's what it feels like to this other person, where a lot of this is desperation on the part of the person who's been broken up with. It's pain, it's hurt, it's not knowing what to do. It's wanting to be with this person and not being able to have them, and you can't stand it. And I completely understand that. But I want to help you get your ex back. I don't just want to put on a smile and say, it's best for you. Just forget about your ex. Because first of all, that's ridiculous. If you genuinely cared about this person and this relationship had some time on it, you had some history, some commitment, companionship with this person, you would have to be emotionally and even potentially mentally unhealthy to just be able to flick a switch. And so when other coaches tell you to do that, understand you're dealing with someone who really doesn't have a good grasp on the situation and is just wanting to dismiss your pain because it's inconvenient and they want to just make a bunch of happy talk to get views on a video and have people try to do things that actually is not good for them. And no, I'm certainly not suggesting that you wallow in misery and that you shape your life into something that its only intention is to get your ex back and to obsess over what your ex is thinking and feeling. But I'm also realistic, and I know that you're going to think about those things and that there will be a time of grief one way or the other. Hopefully that grief ends with you getting your ex back. That's what I want. But I also have to be honest with you and tell you that it doesn't always happen. What I can tell you is this: when you turn your focus inward, and that is you are going to work on yourself. And I'm not saying that this breakup was all your fault or that it was mostly your fault, but you probably have some areas you can improve on to make yourself more attractive. And why would you want to do that? Well, do it for you. Because you want to be your most attractive self. You want to be your best self. You don't want to be a lesser version of what you could be. And if you do want to reattract your ex, then as you're using no contact, and I will link to videos on that in the description below, as you're using no contact and your ex begins to come back around to miss you, to reflect and to see that there was a strong place in their life, and that they lost sight of that. And when your ex gets the opportunity to feel the loss, your loss, which at the breakup, they are not feeling that because it was their choice. I go into that in depth in other videos. But when they do reach those moments where they want to reach out, where they're at least considering getting back together with you, you want to be your most attractive self then. You actually want them to think, did I not see this before? How could I possibly have let this go or risked this? And when I say focus inward, for some reason, a lot of people will jump to the idea, yeah, I need to go out with other people. It's like, no, I said focus where? Did I say focus on other people? I said focus on you. Now, when I say focus on you, does that mean that you don't involve yourself with other people? Well, when you are healing from this, as a healthy person who doesn't just flick a switch when you love someone, or else it's not really love. If you can just flick it off, it's not really love. And you will harm yourself. You will harm future relationships, even with your ex, if you try to just force yourself to feel romantic feelings for someone else or to put someone else in that role. You begin to change your shape inside. And you will become someone who can't be hurt by others, yes, but also someone who can't feel the depths of love that you probably want to feel, and who probably can't be loved to those depths either. So when I say focus inward, I'm talking about your life, and that will involve other people. There are friends, family in your life, and you need to bring them in more. You need to use their help because that's what they're there for. And no, I'm not talking about using people, but utilizing the comfort and love that's already around you is very important in this situation. And you need those moments where you're alone, where you're reflecting, where you're seeing areas for growth, and you are working on those things. That will involve being active. You may need to go to the gym. You may need to take a class. You may need to work on an instrument, work on your business, things to just make yourself a more well-rounded person. And you need to do this as well to separate yourself from the loss, because loss can masquerade itself as love. When someone walks away from you and you feel that pain, that sting of rejection, of not having a choice in the matter, of that this could actually happen, that someone could be in your life in this way. You could feel this way about someone and they could just walk away. There's all kinds of things at play, and people often mistake loss for love. Loss hurts, and we feel that and we focus on that because it's the pain that's in front of us at the moment. And it can feel like love, and love is part of it. If you were in love with this person, had a relationship with this person, a good relationship, but that loss needs to be separated from love. And what I mean by that is that if you can get the feeling of loss to be less, at least in terms of your focus, it doesn't hurt as much. And some ways that you can do that involve reminding yourself that you don't have to get this person back today, this week, this month, or even this year. That does not eliminate the possibility that you two could be together. That's not how it works. You take some of the pressure of the timing off. You take some of that panic away, that it's as though you're just losing it, that you have your hand out and they're slipping from your grasp. Looking at it that way is the wrong way, and you need to be able to separate and pull that away. Then you don't feel the entirety of loss because you don't know if you've lost them entirely. The odds are pretty good that you haven't. And so if you can just at least entertain the idea that you don't know if you've lost them forever, that you don't have to get them back right away, and even if you have to fake it, tell yourself, I will get through this one way or the other. Even if you laugh after you say it, even if you say out loud, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I will get through this one way or the other. You won't like saying it at first, but it's an exercise. It will encourage you and help you start to know that, to believe that it's true. Take a quick second and click the subscribe button below so that you can be notified when I have more videos like this. And that includes videos on breakups, getting an ex back, mindfulness, marriage, relationships, and success in life. It's also important that you embrace the silence. Yes, right now, hopefully, if you have watched some of my other videos, if you're picking up on the strategy, you are not contacting your ex, you are being silent. You are not initiating contact. You need to embrace that. You need to embrace that, for one, because it's showing your ex that you can stay away, which is very important to helping them to see what they could lose. If your ex believes that you can stay away and that you can move on, then your ex can see that they could lose you. And what I mean by that is that they could reach a point where they could want you back and not be able to get you back. Right after the breakup, your ex assumes if they ever wanted you back, they could just get you back because your ex feels in control. They're the one who's telling you, I don't want this. We're breaking up. And they feel like you want this and they don't. So if they ever do change their mind, they could just get you back. That's what your ex feels and believes, possibly in this very moment, if it's still fairly new. Then they begin to get into stages of realizing that's not entirely true. And they have to get to a point where they fear the loss and they fear that maybe they have already lost you, that maybe they couldn't get you back. Now, you don't want that to be absolute, and you don't want to try to make them think you've moved on and tell them. What you really want is mystery, because when we have the answers to things, there's not much motivation left. We're not looking for the answers anymore. Even if it's an answer we don't want, we have closure and the energy goes down. But when we don't have the answer, we're seeking it. We're preoccupied with it. We're spending time trying to figure out the answer. That's where the pull is. Mystery is so much more powerful than the answer. And that's what you want. You want your ex wondering if they have lost you. That's much more powerful than you trying to be cold or angry or to show them some picture with you with somebody else. Those things can blow up in your face, because while it could hurt your ex, it doesn't mean that your ex will say, well, I need to try to get them back, because your ex may not be to the right emotional stage yet for that to be productive. If they're not, what it could do, it could hurt them some, but it could also just have them figure that they have to move on and that you're gone. If they get to a certain point where they have thought about this enough, reflected on this enough, missed you enough, that's when the mystery and the concern and the fear that they could be losing you can actually be very powerful. I talk about this more in my emergency breakup kit, and I linked that in the description below. Take a look at that. It's a powerful guide if you want your ex back. It's the culmination of my 2 decades in the relationship coaching service. So take a look at that. The emergency breakup kit and the emergency marriage kit, both of which will be linked to in the description below. So I've talked about getting your focus off of your ex and onto you. I've talked about attempting to separate loss and love and trying to realize that those are 2 different things, and that if you can lower your feeling of loss by realizing you don't have to do something right away, you don't have to get them back right away, then that can help you to realize and to determine if this is love or if this is mostly just loss. And being able to reflect on the relationship from a more neutral standpoint will help you be able to do that. If we take some of the panic away, you can do that. And then making sure that your ex has been given an opportunity to reach that place where they feel the loss themselves, where they recognize that they could lose you. And they need to go through some stages after the breakup while you're in no contact. I'll link to a video I have called Stages Your Ex Goes Through During No Contact. It's a wonderful explanation of what your ex goes through after the breakup. And I also have a video called The Dumper's Experience. And I'll link to both of those in the description below. It's a great guide as far as showing you what your ex is going through after the breakup if you're using no contact. And to see why your ex is usually not ready to get back together with you right after the breakup, and it takes some time, and you cannot talk them into it. That you're actually speaking to someone who emotionally is deaf to you in many ways, because they've had all this time to consider the breakup, to think they want it and to think they don't, to talk themselves out of it and to talk themselves back into it, and you're just getting it the day they break up with you. Whereas they have been thinking about it for a long time and dealing with it and trying to figure it out. It's like they've been studying for the test for a long time, and you just found out there was one. They're prepared for this. That's why when you try to say to them, we can work on this, give it another chance, and those kinds of things, that they aren't interested, that they maybe seem cold, that they're just a brick wall. The reason is because they've had a lot of time to digest this. And so it's going to take some time to get them into different stages where they are more receptive to the idea of getting back together with you. And you have to be out of the picture for a while so that they can see what it's like to be without you. They can realize the breakup was a mistake, and they can consider the idea of getting back together with you, but then they realize maybe you couldn't be gotten back. It's very important. And all this comes from your silence and embracing the silence, because it's going to be helpful to you, but it also will help you as a person to focus where you need to focus right now, which is internally, to heal from some of this loss and injury, to improve yourself. And that may be so that your ex, when you two have a face-to-face, when they reach out to you and want to see you, that they are just blown away and can't believe they let someone like you get away. That puts you in the position of power, you in the position of choice, and your ex in the potential position of having to deal with loss if they can't get you back. So if you're hurting right now, after being broken up with, I want you to tell yourself, I'm going to toughen up. I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to let my ex figure this out because they've made a mistake. I'm not going to fix their mess. They need to realize this on their own, and I'm going to help them do that. In the meantime, though, I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to surround myself with people who love me and care about me and won't break up with me because I deserve that. And I'm going to tell myself, as many times as it takes, I don't have to get them back right away, and time is on my side. I also have a video about anxiety, if you're dealing with breakup anxiety, that I will link to in the description below. It's a powerful video. A lot of people say that it's tremendously helped their anxiety. Take a look at that. I will link to that in the description below. If you like this video, if it was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And please follow me on Instagram at RealCoachLee. That's RealCoachLee on Instagram. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.